ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
नमस्कारः।
ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Namaste once again everyone.
Pranam Guruji.
Pranam
Guruji. I might not be able to attend the class fully, Guruji. I just wanted to let you know about that, Guruji. My apologies.
Okay. So we are on the 21st sloka of the third chapter.
Yes.
Yadacharati shrestah tattaddevetaro janah sayyat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate. So basically Bhagavan is saying in this sloka, whatever an important person, a superior person, a role model does, those actions alone every other person does. So whatever that role model sets as standards of conduct or action, the world of people follow. World of people follows it. World is. So in this sloka, Krishna is stating what we have already discussed in the context of the previous sloka. And we should remember that we are now moving into the topic of Loka Sangraha, welfare of the people, which is very important goal for every ruler. So this is the simple sloka, the message of which we have already dealt with in detail. So actually speaking, these are all very important and useful verses to know and follow that. But we will see the word meanings. Yat yat sreshtaha acharati. Whatever a sreshta purusha, a superior person, a hero, a model, a trendsetter does, tat tat itaraha janaha acharati. Every other person will do likewise. And as we discussed in the last class also, for a child, Shrestha Purusha is the parent, mother first and then the father. In the next stage, it is the teacher and then the ruler or the king. One important aspect we need to note is human beings always have a herd mentality like many animals. Most human beings, there are exceptions of course, but most human beings will not take the trouble to apply their mind to anything that they are told. They will just blindly follow whatever their leader says. And this is one of the reasons why the state of politics in our country is what it is today. So he says, Sa yat pramanam kurute, that person, that Sreshtaha Purushaha, who is looked upon to, sets the trend for how everyone else lives. Pramanam kurute. People always look up to someone, and whatever that person looks upon as a standard, the people will follow. So here the word pramana, we have to understand it very carefully. Earlier, we have seen the meaning of the word pramana as means of knowledge. Here the word pramana means the measure of what is right and what is wrong. So in Sanskrit, every word has got slightly different meanings rather. Depending upon the context, we have to interpret the meaning. So tat lokaha anuvartate. Whatever the standards the leaders set, the role models set, people will follow them. And in fact, if you look back, this is what exactly happened in the ancient India also. It is not a new phenomenon. When Ashoka and other kings, they came under the influence of Buddhist monks, because these kings, they no longer look to the Veda as a pramana, as a means of knowledge. And when that happened, lot of people also shifted to Buddhism. So once the king converted to Buddhism, along with it, many of these people, his subjects, they also converted into Buddhism. Therefore, converting people to any new interpretation of the Vedic religion, at the end of the day, what is Buddhism is all about? It is a different interpretation, an easier interpretation of what is said in the Vedas. So converting people to this new interpretation of the Vedic religion was very easy in India in those days. All that had to be done was convert the king, and whatever became a pramana for the king, a standard for the king, it became a pramana for his subjects also. And in fact, if you observe what is going on today, especially in the state of Tamil Nadu, this trend even continues today. And that's why missionaries and those involved in the conversion of Hindus to other Abrahamic religions, they target the community leaders, trendsetters, like film stars, popular speakers, etc., for conversion to their religion through inducements and other means. Once these people are converted, then it becomes easy to convert others also in the community. That is the psychology these people follow. In fact, if you look at some of these people 20 years ago, even politicians, rather, Andhra Pradesh, so much conversion has taken place. Convert the leader, people will get converted. So what Krishna wants to point out here is Arjuna's decision would have far-reaching consequences. Therefore, he has to look at his situation very carefully before he decided anything. And Krishna also had assured Arjuna that he would lose nothing by doing his duty, right? By not doing not doing his duty, lot of things will be lost. But by doing his duty, nothing would be lost. Suppose Arjuna was a jnani. His action would be based on his response to the unfolding prarabdha. And that would create no problems for him because he understands why this is happening. And if he was a ajnani, the action was definitely to be done because it was his duty. So whether ajnani or ajnani, Arjuna needs to take action. This was Krishna's whole point here. And now Krishna continues pointing to himself, giving himself as an example with reference to the performance of action. Na me partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptavyam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Anvaya is, he Partha, asti na kinchana me kartavyam trishu lokeshu na avaptavyam anavaptam eva cha varte karmani. Avaptam, anavaptam, you can probably add na asti within bracket. Eva cha varte karmani. He Partha, O Arjuna, asti na kinchana, there is nothing. Me kartavyam, to be done by me, to be pursued by me. Trishu lokeshu, in all three worlds. Na avaptavyam, there is nothing to be accomplished. Anavaptam, which is not yet attained by me. May you can add there also. Evacha, na asti is not there, right? There is nothing to be accomplished which is not yet attained, is not there. Evacha can be taken as still. Despite this, varte karmani, I remain in action. So Krishna says, O Arjuna, there is nothing to be pursued by me in all the three worlds. There is nothing to be attained which I have not already attained. Still, I continue to remain in action. I continue to do what the situation demands me to do. So here, Krishna gives himself as an example. See, this is where we get glimpse into Bhagavad Gita, a little deeper glimpse. Even though a king, Yadava king, right? A friend of Arjuna, Krishna knows himself to be an avatara. The one who has authored the Vedas for the benefit of the mankind. Krishna knows this. And that is why he readily agreed to teach Arjuna when Arjuna said, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Therefore, in order to highlight the importance of doing one's karma, performing one's swadharma, Krishna cites his own example for Loka Sangraha. So he says, hey Arjuna, I am an avatara. In fact, I am greater than even a jnani. Because a jnani, before becoming a jnani, was a samsari. Later only, of course, he got jnanam and he got liberated. But an avatara is one who is a born jnani. At birth itself, he is with jnanam, he takes birth. That is avatara. In fact, we will see more about avatara later. Right? We'll discuss that. So he says, even though I am an avatara of the Lord, I have to perform actions dictated by the circumstances. Once I have undertaken to become your driver, I have to follow the rules. I have to do exactly what you ask me to do. You asked me to take your chariot and put it in between the two armies. I did that. And as a charioteer, these are all my duty. I have to wash the chariot, wash the horses, feed the horses. I cannot say, no, I only accepted the role as a charioteer in the war. All other work I will not do. I cannot say that. I can't say that washing this horse is all below my dignity. I can't say. Once I have accepted that role, I have to perform everything, all actions connected with that role. Like we have, we have got cars and we have got drivers, right? We expect a driver to make sure that, the car is clean, inside, outside, everything washed properly. And then he keeps a tab on the petrol or diesel levels and all that, alerts us when there is a need for refill and all that. It's all part of driver's duty. Therefore, he says, once I am in a particular position, I have to follow Swadharma. And as a grihastha, when I was in my palace, Kuchela came to meet me. I have to follow Atiti Devo Bhava. When Kuchela comes, I can't tell him, I am the Lord of the universe. He is Atiti. In fact, I have to treat him like I will treat Bhagawad. I have to do Pada Puja. Because that is what the scriptures are teaching, that you should do Pada Puja of Atiti. You must actually treat the Atiti as a Deva. I cannot say, I am a king of, this Mathura or whatever place, Dwaraka. Therefore, I will not touch Kuchela's feet. I cannot say that. I cannot even say, oh, Kuchela, oh, good, very good. Now I am the king. Earlier we were friends. Now you should worship me because I am the king. I can't say that also. Because the scriptures teaching override everything else. Even as a child, I had to kill my own uncle, who was the epitome of adharma. That was a duty I performed, whether I liked it or not. There was no raga, no dvesha involved in all these things. I did everything and I'm continuing to do all actions, accepting them as my duty. See how beautifully the teaching is going on. No? Krishna is telling, what are you talking, Arjuna, running away from the war? Look at me. Learn from me. So Krishna quotes himself as an example here. He says, Hey Pata, me trishu lokeshu kinchana kartavyam na asti. I need not perform any duty. But normally what karma yoga you do to purify the mind. And Krishna as a Lord is ever pure. As a Jnani is ever pure. He does not need to do any karma or karma yoga. So he says, therefore, I have no need for karma yoga. Through these actions, I have nothing to accomplish. Trishu lokeshu. In all three words, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, all three words, I need not accomplish anything. And also, Avaptavyam, Anavaptam na asti. There is no Purushartha which has not been accomplished by me. I need not attain Dharma, Artha, Kama, or even Moksha. Because these Purusharthas are part of me only. And that's why, we have this word Bhagavan. We call the Lord Bhagavan. Beautiful word. Huh? I don't know whether we have seen the meaning of this word. I remember we did it in Vishnu Sahasranam class, but I don't know whether I have actually dealt with this in Bhagavad Gita class. Even if I have done, doesn't matter. Let us have a recap. Bhaga asya asti iti Bhagavan. The word Bhagavan is derived from the word Bhaga. What is the meaning of the word Bhaga? Bhaga represents sixfold wealth. And Van in Sanskrit, Vatu Pratyaya, means the one who possesses. So, the one who possesses or enjoys in full measure the sixfold wealth is called Bhagavan. And this is explained in a sloka in Vishnu Purana. Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya yashasak shriyah Yana vairagyayoho chaiva Shannam bhaga itirana. Shannam bhaga itirana. These six are said to be bhaga. What are they? Aishwaryam. Here Aishwaryam does not mean wealth. Aishwaryam means overlordship, power to rule over others. It is derived, for people who know Sanskrit, Ishwarasya bhavaha Aishwaryam. Ishwara means the ruler. Ishwarasya bhavaha means the status of being the ruler or controller of everything. Overlordship is Aishwaryam. The word samagrasya, we will take it later, right? Second is viryasya, viryam. Here viryam means valor, courage. Then yashaha, which means fame. The fourth one is shrihi, prosperity. So overlordship, courage, fame, prosperity. Then jnanam, knowledge. And finally, vairagyam. Vairagyam means we have already seen dispassion, independence, freedom. Freedom from all dependence is called vairagyam. And these sixfold wealth he has got samagrasya, in full measure, in absolute measure. So in fact, we can read this sloka, samagrasya aishwaryasya, samagrasya viryasya, samagrasya yashasaha, samagrasya shriyaha, samagrasya jnanaha, samagrasya vairagyaha. So every aspect of all the six aspects, he has in full measure, in absolute measure. Therefore, what it means, all things, all wealth belongs to Bhagavan only. Even suppose I have got some thousands of crores, it cannot be called Bhaga because it represents only a portion of the total wealth which is there in the cosmos. Similarly, Aishwaryam, we may have some power over our servants, our children, or people who work under us, etc., who call us boss and all, manager. Of course, that itself is doubtful, but still let us assume. Even assuming that power is there, that will not come under Bhaga, because that is not absolute. One person on whom you have no power is your spouse itself. Whether it is male or female, doesn't matter. But Bhaga means overlordship, absolute overlordship. That is Abhaga. Similarly, courage, absolute fame. Each one in absolute measure put together is called Bhagaha. And Bhagavan means the one who has got all these six in absolute measure. And Krishna is Bhagavan. So for such a person who is a Bhagavan, what is there to be accomplished in the world that he has to work for it? And that is why he says, Anavaptam avaptavyam nasti. There is nothing to be accomplished by me which has not yet been accomplished. But look at me. Varta evacha karmani. Still, I am busy doing whatever I have to do according to my position in the society, according to my stage in life. So as long as I am alive, I have to perform my swadharma. Therefore, Arjuna, when I myself cannot escape from my duty, how can you even think of doing that? So even if you take yourself to be a jnani, you have to do your duty for loka sangraham. That's the message of this sloka. And in the next sloka, Krishna says, what will be the consequence if he does not engage tirelessly in action? He says, Yadi yaham na varteyam jatu karmanya tandritaha mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. You see, if people who are in such high position, they don't follow, first of all, they don't set standards, or even if they set standards, they don't follow, what will happen? The Anvaya. Hi yadi jatu aham na varteyam atandritaha karmani manushyaha anuvartante mama vartma sarvashaha he partha. So he says, because yadi jatu, if ever, aham na varteyam, I do not remain, atandritaha, tirelessly, karmani, in action, manushyaha, the people, anuvartante, would follow, mama vartma, my path, sarvashaha, in every way. He partha, O Arjuna. Another very important point he is making. He says, Arjuna, if ever I do not remain tirelessly in action, all people will follow my path in every way. It will become a very easy excuse for them to do nothing. So, as we were discussing in the previous, in the context of the previous sloka, most people are driven by herd mentality or what we call flock mentality, like sheep. Especially when it comes to role models. When healthy and robust models are not available, then people like the cinema actors, actresses, fashion models, etc., they all become role models. And what will happen? The standards, societal values will go on falling. And the whole society will be in utter confusion. Swami Paramathananda quotes a very beautiful example of a traffic signal. There is a traffic signal, green light is there, everybody is going, coming. Suddenly that light turns to red. So all the traffic stops. And suppose there is no policeman around. Normally after evening 7 o'clock, the policeman would have gone home. Nobody will be there on duty mostly. What will happen? Have you ever observed the behavior of people? First, there is a traffic light, red light, everybody will stop. Then one person in the front will look around if there is any police, a cop, traffic cop around. If he finds that there is no one around, he will jump the red light and he will go forward. And his action will prompt others also to follow him. And what will be the result? There will be utter chaos, confusion, and traffic jam. Because the other side is still traffic is going on. This fellow has jumped the red light. Others are also jumping. And this we can, there is no need to elaborate this. When we go in our car, when we drive down, we can see this. Whether it is Chennai, whether it is Delhi, whether it is Bombay, whether it is Bangalore, irrespective. All that is required is one wrong person to jump the traffic light. Everybody else will follow. Now imagine if in the entire society, the violation of the harmony is taking place at all levels. Will it not lead to sociological disorder? Therefore, role models are not only necessary, but they should be well-meaning, robust, healthy role models who are able to set higher standards of behavior. And this will require the role models themselves to work tirelessly for the benefit of the society. You can't be a role model sitting in some nice AC office telling everybody do this, do that, do that. You yourself don't do anything. Initially, people, because of the fear, may do. But over a period of time, they will say, when this fellow himself is not doing anything, why is he expecting us to do all these things? And that is what Krishna is saying here. Yadi hyaham na varteyam. Suppose I do not perform my duty. And that too how? Atantritaha. Tirelessly. Knowing fully well that I will not be getting any benefit if I do not perform my duty sincerely and tirelessly and wholeheartedly, enthusiastically, for others' sake. Not occasionally, jatu, at all times. Then what will happen? Mama vartmanu vartante. The whole society will be waiting to follow me in inaction and justify their behavior. That's why, when you catch a thief, he will justify his behavior. Krishna stole the butter. So I can also steal this. He will quote Krishna for all the persons. If he can steal butter, I can steal. What is wrong if I steal something else? Therefore, what normally will happen is, even when there are role models, they have to be extremely careful. Because everybody will pick that behavior of the role model which is convenient for them. That's why he says, Mama Vatmanu Vartante. The people will follow my way of life. Vartma means the way of life. Mama Vartmanu Vartante Manushyaha. All human beings will follow me. Follow me alone. Therefore, if I go wrong, it will affect the entire society. Sarvashaha, in every way, in all manners. Therefore, I need to exercise extreme care about what I do and what I do not do, what I say and what I do not say. Because people are generally led by flock mentality. But I was preparing my notes, I came across Swami Paramatmananda. In this context, he gives a very beautiful, small story. I thought I'll share it with you. To highlight this behavior, this flock mentality behavior. This story is set in Rameshwaram. Many of you know, I think all of you know what is Rameshwaram. It's a pilgrimage center. And it has got a lot of punya attached to it. So there was this Brahmin who went to Rameshwaram. And when you go to Rameshwaram, they say that one has to go and take a dip, take a bath in the sea, the Rameshwaram. So this Brahmin goes to take a bath and he finds that he has got a copper vessel with him. Now he wants to leave the copper vessels on the sands on the shore and then go into the sea for the dip. But then he gets concerned that if he leaves it and goes into the sea, somebody may steal the copper vessel when he was taking his bath. So he hits upon an idea. What he does, he digs a hole on the sand and he buries the copper vessel so that nobody can see it. After doing that, he realizes there is another problem. Because even though now he knows where he has buried in the sand, once he goes into the sea and comes back, how will he know which place he has buried it? How will he identify the place where he has buried the copper vessel? So therefore, in order to solve that problem, he feels that he needs to put an indication. Now, indication should be such that it should not be very prominent, that everybody will say, oh, something's there, some flag is there, so let me dig this. So he thinks that, okay, if I make a Shivalinga out of sand and put it in this place above where I have buried the copper vessel, when I come back, I can see the Shivalinga and take the copper vessel. And Shivalinga in Rameshwaram seashore, will not be a very, prominently visible. Everybody will think, okay, it's a sand Shivalinga somebody has made. This sand Shivalinga is called Saikata Linga. So he makes one Saikata Linga, puts it there, and having made all preparation, he goes into the sea for his bath. And he's a Brahmin. Brahmin's bath is not a very simple affair. It's a very time-consuming affair. Take a lot of time. Agamarshana Sutta he has to chant, and after bath immediately he has to do Sandhya Vandanam and so many other prayers and all, which it takes a long time. So when this Brahmin was taking his bath, another Brahmin comes and he sees that there is a Brahmin in the sea, out in the sea, taking a bath. And this Brahmin also, the second Brahmin also sees that there is one Saikata Linga, that is the Linga, Shivalinga made of sand, on the seashore. So he makes a connection. There is one Brahmin who is taking bath, and here is a Saikata Linga. So perhaps it is a custom in Rameshwaram that before entering the sea for a bath, one should make a Shivalinga out of sand, because He recalls, oh yeah, I know why this custom is there, because it is said in the scriptures, Lord Rama did puja to Shivalinga in Rameshwaram. From that time only this custom would have come probably. So what the second Brahmin does, he makes a Shivalinga near the earlier one and goes to take his bath. Then the third Brahmin comes. He sees two Brahmins taking bath and two Shivalingas here, Saikatalingas. So he's also same, herd mentality. I should also make a Saikatalinga go for bath. So he also makes one more Saikatalinga goes for bath. Likewise, this process is repeated by all Brahmins who come there for taking bath. And when the first Brahmin comes out after doing all his, taking bath and performing all, his Sandhyavandanam, etc., where he comes to the spot where he had made his Saikatalinga, he finds hundreds of Shivalinga made of sand in the place. Now, how will he know where his copper vessel is buried? Under which Shivalingam was his copper vessel hiding? So, he thinks, oh, what a stupid word. Everybody is following what I did without understanding why they are doing it. And if we observe, this in many other spheres of life also, this holds good. Take the example of stock markets. Many people, suppose if you are a successful investor, you have made some money in the stock market. People will come to you, where did you invest and all that? Whatever you say, they will go and invest in that. They will not apply their mind. You must have invested 5 years ago and made money. Today, if you invest at the current prices, you may be a loser, but they will not think about it. So many people make money like this in the stock market. There will be trendsetters and others will blindly follow them in buying the stocks, either buying or selling, whatever it is. And this is what leads to the booms and crashes in the stock markets. Another glaring example is the fashion trends. Some celebrity, what they call the page 3 celebrity, page 3 Times of India. He appears in public wearing a torn jeans. It is torn at the, in the knees and all completely. It is torn completely. What you can call, shredded, that portion. And he appears in public. It becomes a fashion trend. And in fact, the tragedy is many youngsters who will not find such jeans in the market, they will go buy new jeans and make holes in the knee portion and all that, and also do other things in order to make them like the one which the celebrity was wearing, and wear them and go around. They will feel very proud that actually following a celebrity. All herd mentality. We can think of hundreds of examples of the herd mentality behavior. Because most humans do not want to apply their mind at all. That is the problem. But of course, we must understand that there is one positive side also. Some advantages are there. Because if there are people who set standards for dharmic behavior, then inspired by them, many others may also follow suit. Thus, even as parents, we can teach our children more by action, which will be more effective than teaching through words. Therefore, Krishna says, He Partha, Mama Vartmanu Vartante Manushyaha Sarvashaha. Whatever I do, they will just watch me and they will follow me blindly. Therefore, I have to be very careful. Arjuna's situation is no different than Krishna's situation. Now I'll go to the next shloka. Excuse me. Twenty-fourth shloka. Utside yurime loka akuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyami ma praja. Continuing with the same theme, this is now giving all the consequences. What will all happen if I don't do my action? One is people will follow what I do. What that will lead to, he is saying here. Aham karma na kuryam chet. Ime loka hai utsideyuhu. Syam karta sankarasya cha upahanyam imaf praja. Aham karmana kuryat chet. If I do not perform action, ime loka hai, all these people would say utsideyuhu, they would perish. Syam karta, I will be the creator. Sankarasya cha, of confusion also. Upahanyam, I will be destroying imaf praja hai, these people. So Krishna says, if I do a wrong action or if I do not perform any action, there is a worse consequence waiting. I will become guilty of being the creator of the world to, the destroyer of the world. I will be destroying these people. So if I do not perform action, all these people would perish. I will be the creator of confusion also. I will be destroying these people. So here Krishna says, once I violate my swadharma, that is, I do not do my social duties. We have seen, many duties which we are enjoying to do, Pancha Mahayagya, all this, swadharma. But all the swadharmas will come under our duties only. So he says, if I do not do that, then the other people will also violate swadharma. By violating my swadharma, I may not have any consequence because I am an avatara. But that will not be the case with the people. And the problem is the consequences of their violating the swadharma will also not be felt immediately. It will take time. That's why, those who know Tamil, there is a saying which we often repeat. Arasan andru kolvan, iraivan nindru kolvan. Those who understand. Bhagavan does not punish immediately. A king may give a punishment immediately, but when the cosmic order wants to punish you, it will wait and then punish. And even when it comes to eating or drinking or something, right? If we consume something which is unacceptable to our system, Bhagavan has given a certain degree of immunity to protect us. So initially, nothing will happen if you make one or two violations. But if the violation persists, even though the consequences will not be felt immediately, but will start showing up after a period of time. And that is why, if we analyze, when we get older, we get all sorts of problems. All sorts of health problems, mental problems and all, because that time we will not be able to recall what all akramam we have done in our life. How we have abused all the organs which Bhagavan has given us. whether it is external organs or internal organs, how we have abused them by eating all sorts of things which abhojyam, not to be eaten. And this is the problem, I mean, for at least probably 1 or 2 generations now, after the fridge and all came into to being in our society. People cook and keep them in the fridge and take it out without any idea what chemical changes have taken place in the food that has been cooked and kept in the fridge. Now, little bit here and there, some research is going on. And most these researchers are pointing out that when you cook the food and, for preserving it, keep it in the fridge, that food also undergoes certain changes in its composition, which is not very helpful for human body to absorb and digest. So we will not relate all these things. Oh, later on, I got this problem, I got that problem. Why this problem came whole life? Krishna will talk about it later. Food, 3 types of food. Sattvic food, Rajasic food, then Tamasic food. He will talk about it. We will see in the later chapters. And therefore, even when we do something wrong, it may not show up immediately. It will take effect after a period of time. That period of time may vary. Same thing holds goods for violation of ecological harmony also. Suddenly we are having earthquakes, we are having tsunami and things like that and all. Why? Somebody wants to build one multi-story building. A few trees he will cut and build. Nothing will happen. He will sell it at high price also. But many people will start cutting trees and doing this. Eventually, what happened? In Chennai, what happened a few years ago? Therefore, whenever we go against dharma, the punishment will not visit us immediately. It is only after a few years will we be punished by Bhagawad. And at that time, the punishment could be devastating. Therefore, Krishna says, Aham karmana kuryat chet. If I do not perform action, if I do not do my duty, if I do not set an example, if I do not serve as a model, people will take to my ways and refrain from performing action, performing their swadharma. And when that happens, even though the consequences may not be experienced immediately, but eventually, ime lokaha utsideyuhu. All these people would perish. When, for example, we can relate to, suppose there is an iron rod and you leave it in an open ground. It is subject to all weather, mercy of nature, rain, sunshine, everything. It will not rust immediately. But what will happen? Over a period of time, it may take years rather. It will slowly start rusting and eventually that iron rod will perish. Similarly, when we do not do our swadharma, the actions which we are required to perform for maintaining the cosmic harmony, the consequences will not be felt immediately, but gradually we will end up destroying the creation. And who will be the person responsible for this? The very first person who violated the dharma will be ultimately responsible for the destruction of the creation. So here Krishna says all these people will perish, not immediately, but ultimately. And there will be total disorderliness. People will perish because of serious diseases, natural calamities, etc. And he further says that if he performed no action, he would be the author of confusion. See the contradiction here, or contrast. Arjuna thought that if he fought this battle, he would create utter confusion in the society. First chapter, he says, right? Remember that. And thereby he says, I will incur sin. Varna Sankara, he talked about. And that is why he gave it as a reason for not wanting to fight. If I fight Arjuna, all these people will be killed, women will become widows, and then they will take to all wrong ways, and Varna Sankara will take place, and society will get destroyed. That was Arjuna's argument for not fighting the war. Now Krishna is telling him that by not fighting Arjuna, you would be creating confusion because the people will also not do what was to be done. See the point of view, 2 points of view, Vyasacharya beautifully presents. So knowing all this, Krishna knew that he himself had to set a good example. Otherwise, he would be the cause for everyone's destruction. People had to do their karmas. Not doing them was not going to help them. They would not be happy, not by doing what was to be done by them. Of course, they may not be happy doing the karma also, but not doing it will be far, far worse. Not doing means what? Complete predominance of tamasa guna. Mass lethargy that will completely overtake the society. So previously, Krishna had pointed out that when once buddhi, the intellect is gone, the human being is destroyed, isn't it? Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Second chapter we saw. When he traced, from anger, how delusion happens and all that. He says, buddhi nashat pranashyati. It's not a physical destruction, it's a buddhi nasha, destruction of the intellect, destruction of the viveka shakti because of delusion. He used the word sammoha, the capacity to discriminate between what is and what is not. And here Krishna says that if people do not have the right role model to follow, or the role model sets wrong standards, like in this case, Krishna as a role model does not do what was to be done, then people will be lost and confused. He says, Syam Karta Sankarasya. I will become the doer. I will become responsible for the confusion. In the absence of guidance, they will not do what is to be done, and they will end up doing what is not to be done. And therefore, imaf prajah upahanya. Thus, I will be the cause for their destruction. Therefore, simply because people always take what an exalted person does in the society, they take him as their role model. Krishna would become the cause for destruction if he did not perform karma. Such a profound message is why we should do our swadharma. Whole of Gita, he will repeat this, the most important thing. Doing swadharma is very much the found basis of karma yoga. Now, almost time. We will read the next sloka and see the details in the next class. Okay. Sakta karmanya vidvamsaha yatha kurvanti bharata kuryat vidvams tata saktaha chikirshu loka sangraham. I will give the Anvaya and the meanings in the next class. Okay, I'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you
Namaste,
very
Guruji.
much.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Pranam.
Pranam.
The story of
Thank you, Guruji.
Brahman,
Pranam. Hari Om.
story of Brahman
Yeah.
making the Shivalingas
Yeah.
reminds me of the Alibaba and 40 Thieves ka story.
So I'll say herd mentality.
Exactly.
Sorry. So
Tomorrow is a very,
we observe even today in our society we see this, right?
yes, very much.
By their mind at all. Very few people do that. So that is the base
precisely.
human species.
Tomorrow is a very important day with the new parliament being
Yeah.
inaugurated.
Yeah.
Very important. Hope everything goes off well.
And the history of India, rather, right?
Yes.
Historic movement.
Although we have all seen the old one,
Yeah.
now the new one has come up.
I'm told, of course, I've not seen the videos. Those videos are circulating. It is marvelous. It's
Yes, I have seen. I believe so.
excellent.
It's very good. I have seen the video. I have seen the inside of the old parliament.
To visit it.
Yes,
So like a museum.
absolutely.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
Vision. No? Vision.
Let's hope everything goes off well.
Yeah, it will go off.
Exactly.
That anybody do. There are people who will be other side also, so as a part of the society. It'll all go on.
That's correct.
That is a very good.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Are you? Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Guruji, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether it is fair to ask like this because some back chapter you mentioned in the first chapter, Arjuna says that for not fighting, the one reason is the Varna Sankara. So that time, what is the answer Krishna gives? I'm not remembering.
He doesn't give any answer. He just listens.
Achha.
Because you see,
Okay.
Krishna starts teaching from the 11th sloka of the second chapter.
Yeah.
Till Arjuna asks him to teach, Krishna doesn't open mouth for teaching. But in the second chapter, he actually chides or he scolds Arjuna. You are acting like a transgender. You know, I mean, of course, in these days, if I say transgender, there will be
Yeah.
a case against me. But there, Clybium is the word. Means what? Neither man's qualities nor a woman's qualities. Right? You should not look at the physical attributes, but the attributes. You know, so you are acting like that. I mean, neither this way nor that way. You are sitting on the floor and crying. This all he says, but he doesn't give him gyan at all. He doesn't say, Arjuna, you are right, you are wrong. Through the teaching only, he is now pointing out that what all Arjuna said was all wrong.
Okay, getting answered slowly.
Here that he is pointing out to Arjuna, you said that by fighting you will destroy the society. I am telling you, by not fighting, you will destroy the society. Right?
Yeah.
He has got his own way of,
Answering, yeah. Yeah. Okay, Guruji, thank you.
Yes, Satya.
Namaste, Guruji.
Stay.
Am I seeing? Yeah. Guruji, you were actually mentioning that as a true leader, as a true king, or even as a Bhagavan, Krishna does the righteous decisions. In the when we actually consider all the humans, I think Modi ji is probably the best example that we can give right now, because he has been to Himalayas, he has seen all the phases of life. But again, he came to this path. He chose that, India is not going in the right path. He came, he is saving us all. And in fact, as a leader, we have seen for the right since the independence, there have been so many leaders who just looted money, who just wrote off our country to other countries, and we have been under immense pressure. And right now, India is flourishing, and everyone is looking up to India, and that's because we have such a good leader in front who works for the country, who has set an example for everyone to work. And every single person who's like a cabinet minister, like Jaishankar or Nirmala Sitharaman, or anyone who it is, they have been doing tremendous job because there is a leader in front of them who will, drag them to finish. It's not like a king who is sitting behind and chasing the horses. It is like a leader who's trying to rope to himself and pulling the whole country.
Correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up this point. Just when
It's very good example. I didn't
yeah,
want to quote that example. I could have, because I thought I didn't want to get into politically, this thing, sensitive examples. But you're right. You say, see, now he has got a cabinet of ministers, right? This is a very good example, because earlier also there was a prime minister, a cabinet of ministers. What did the cabinet do? Whatever the prime minister did or did not do, they followed him. Today, the prime minister, whatever he is doing or not doing, the cabinet is following. This is what is called, setting. And now, fortunately for us, we have got such a leader who is setting very good standards, higher standards, and dharmic standards. So everybody has got a follow that. But having said that, even Krishna, or Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, he had to destroy so many people. So adharmic people have to be destroyed if Dharma has to be.
Yeah.
That is what it is. The whole story is.
Yeah, that is true.
Living in this age,
That is true. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up this point.
BJP rule is there. At least we can see these things alive, rather, right? Otherwise, this will be theoretical for us. Now
Definitely,
this
Guruji.
is alive. We have got both the
Yeah.
examples. The examples of a leader who sets wrong standards, example of a leader. And in fact, we have got an example of a leader who believes in inaction. Not say anything, not do anything. Also, 10 years, one person has been a prime.
Yeah.
That also we have got. All such people is what Krishna is talking about here. Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Definitely, Guruji. Definitely.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any more questions or comments? Anything? Nothing is there. And we close the session today then. Okay, we will catch up next week. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om Guruji. Thank you.
Dhanyawad.
Hari Om Guruji. Thank you.